What does Shabbos mean to you? This is Chani Schreiber, and I'd love to delve deeper into this question. So join me in this weekly podcast as we uplift the Shabbos together. This week we're going to be talking about a formula to create yourself. So to understand how Shabbos is uniquely designed in a formula for self-creation in terms of character and perspective, we first need to understand what is the concept of a mitzvah and how does it work. These are the two things that we're going to be talking about. Self-creation must of necessity be a holistic process. And holistic process means that it has to involve every part of us. It's not only we're going to work on our minds and we're going to become better. It's not. It's everything. It's our movement. It's everything that we do makes us who we are. We are spiritual and physical, intellectual and emotional. If you think about it, intellectual and emotional are two opposites, but yet they are the same. Do something only from your intellectual, which is your mind, and not your emotional, which contains your heart. It doesn't always come across as being a warm thing that you're doing. It could become very cold. So everything is you're using all your senses. We are a spiritual, unique combination of body and soul means that for any process of personal transformation to be effective, it must engage both of our mind and our soul, our mind and our hearts. This idea lies at the heart of the concept of a mitzvah, literally translated as commandment. It almost always takes the form of a physical action, which conforms to a very specific formula. These two elements of a mitzvah, internal and external, are intertwined. So it's saying how much the two parts of our physical and emotional are needed to make change happen. Okay, there are two types of mitzvahs. Those we fulfill by doing, and those we fulfill by not doing. So it's loisaseh and taseh, right? It's two things, right? Those that command us to act and those that command us not to act. There are actions we do to become better people, and there are actions we refrain from doing not to damage our character, or there are actions that bring out the best in us and others that bring out the worst. The mitzvahs are a divine formula for creating ourselves by embracing the former and avoiding the later. Okay, so now this to me is a really beautiful concept, because we always, when we tell a child, when we talk about mitzvahs to a child, we always say, oh, you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that, instead of saying, we could do this, but doing that will cause us to. I think that's a really a much gentler way, and also a much more positive way of giving over a mitzvah to a child, because a child needs to know that the Torah is given for the purpose of making us better people. So if it's for us to become better people, and we say the whole time, no, 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 it makes them very, very, antagonistic. Oh, not another thing that I can't do. So I think it's important to know how to phrase to a child a mitzvah. Shabbos cannot be separated from the halacha. When it is, Shabbos loses its divine power and majesty, its meaning and uniqueness, and its ability to transform us. The whole idea of Shabbos is it's a mitzvah, and we're being told how to do it in order to make ourselves better. Okay, at the most essential level, the halacha frames Shabbos as an immersive 25-hour experience, beginning at sunset on Friday and ending at as three medium-sized stars emerge in the sky on Shabbos, on Saturday, shaping that experience in two ways: what we do and what we don't do. At the heart of what we don't do on Shabbos is what the Torah calls work, and that's the lamites malachos. These categories relate to the production of basic elements needed for human survival. So food, clothing, shelter, as well as the resultant human imprint on the plant and animal world. They include the primary expressions of human creativity: writing, building, transporting, as well as all the important category of igniting fire as a source of energy to provide light and heat, critical to the establishment of human civilization. Each of the 39 has a subcategory, and together they make up the laws of Shabbos. They make up the laws of Shabbos. Okay, Shabbos is, amongst other things, a day we refrain from household chores such as cooking, laundry, repairs, gardening, or shopping. A day on which we do not go to work, engage in commerce, or handle money. A day on which we do not build, write, transport objects. A day on which we do not ignite fire, switch on lights, use electronic devices, or drive a car. The other dimension of Shabbos that shapes us is the actions that we do. So what do? We welcome in the Shabbos. That's we lighting the candles to welcome in the Shabbos. We have mitzvahs that we have. We eat challah. These are things that we have to do. We're meant to do. Okay, and then with Havdalah, we take out Shabbos. We eat 3 special festive meals on Friday night, Shabbos day, and then in the late afternoon, sanctifying the meals with song, words, and inspiration. These are things that we do, and delicious food. We wear our best clothing, indulge in the pleasures of rest, and spend quality time together. We recite special prayers, read a special portion from the Torah, and set aside time for Torah learning. We talk and walk in ways that reflect the holiness of the joy of the day. So I think this is important, that you should think to yourself when you do any kind of act that's a do, like you're allowed to do or you should do, you should have in mind, this is a mitzvah, this is a beautiful thing that I'm doing for Shabbos. And I think that also, it builds a feeling in the home that it's a beautiful, Shabbos is beautiful. It has so many wonderful things that we could do. You bake a challah, or you, even if you don't bake a challah, you set your table. You put on a little bit of a nicer napkin than you would use in the middle of the week. That's already making that Shabbos is more special, and you're giving it honor. You're supposed to be honoring the Shabbos. Okay, so the combination of what we do and what we don't do, or refraining and engaging, constitute the perfect formula designed by the one who created us and knows us best for creating ourselves by building character and shaping perspectives. In this process of self-creation, we don't work alone. The spiritual energy of the day empowers us, which is also true. You wake up on a Shabbos morning, you know it's Shabbos, and you know, have to do, I don't know, you have to get up for the meal. If you go to shul, you have to go up and go to shul. It's not even that you have to, you want to. You want to be part of making this day into something special. On Shabbos, Hashem infuses the world with intensified holiness and spiritual energy. He also imbues us with what the Talmud describes as an extra soul, right? And the Neshama Yisera, an extra dimension of spirituality accessible to us only during Shabbos. Objectively, Shabbos is different from any other day of the week. Its holiness was created at the beginning of time and stands independently of anything we do. But if we connect with it, we have the power to transform ourselves. So Shabbos is always there. But if we don't connect to it, then it's just another day of your week. But if you are connecting in the right way and you're building on that connection every week, you're finding new ways to be Mekadosh Shabbos. That is what makes it that you're changing your character. You're working on your character. It's making you a better place. Last week, we talked about another thing about mitzvah. Mitzvah is also connection. It comes from the word tzavta, which means you are connected. So it's connecting with yourself. It's connecting with your inner self, and you're working and you're building on that connection with yourself and with Hashem. That's what Shabbos is all about. Okay, the chapters that follow, we embark on a journey of discovering how we can create ourselves with Shabbos as our partner. So now we're not having Shabbos as above us, it's our partner, it's beside us. One thing I did want to try to do every week is if we all commit ourselves to one thing that we're going to do throughout the week. So I said in the first week, you don't have to say anything, you don't have to do, talk about it. But if I would like that after we learn through it, if we could take one aspect of Shabbos and say to ourselves, well, this week, this is what I'm doing. So if you write it down or you say it in your mind, that's all I want. I just feel that's what this whole thing is about. It's about building our character.
Have you got an example of something that we can work on during the week?
Even if I don't know, you set the table. I don't know, sometimes for me, I do it sometimes in a very big rush, or I don't do it. When my husband comes home, I think maybe I would put on, this week I'll set the table. Something very small. It's just something that you're taking on with a little bit.
Table the night before, maybe Thursday night, possible?
Yeah, you could do that. Anything that you feel is right for you. I think also it's the family should realize that we're doing these things. They should see that there's a new dimension to our Shabbos.